welcome to Drain the Rabbit Hole! And you thought I wouldn't be back, but no! My mind is the gift that never stops disappointing my parents. So I'm back again to look at how immigration only makes the rich richer. So let's look at that. Okay, the first thing we need to look at is this diagram that I have on my computer. So I'm gonna get this. Let's look at this. Now, what this diagram shows is the calculation of what is the economic benefit of different groups of immigrants when you take how much money they take in terms of like welfare benefits and how much money they add in terms of taxes paid. And look at this calculation. We're losing 200,000 per Syrian guy we're bringing to Norway. 157,000 per Ukrainian people and 137 per Somalian human we're bringing to Norway. Now I'm not, and you can see the whole diagram, so I don't need to go through these, one by one. You can read, probably. But I'm not saying this to out these people. I'm not saying that these people should be evicted from Norway. Not at all. I'm just trying to raise the question that if we are losing so much money per these people we are bringing, then why are we bringing them? And the answer is shockingly simple. And the key to understanding this is not thinking about this as an expenditure. No, this is stimulus. Imagine you are taking someone from Somalia. There is not a lot happening in Somalia. And bringing them to Norway and giving them money in their hand, straight in their hand. That's what we're doing. And immediately they need groceries. They become a customer of Kiwi. They need a mobile subscription. They become a customer of Telenor. They're going to need a bank account. They become a customer of DNB. So this is government stimulus. It's taking the money that should be reserved for the Norwegian people, giving it to people from foreign countries, which makes the Norwegian economy grow. So it makes the rich richer because they are the owners of the companies that are the beneficiaries of the money that we give them straight from the government, our tax money. Okay, so you can imagine that this boosts the stock market, but another thing which is a little bit harder to understand is how this boosts the real estate market, the housing market. So let's look at that. Gotcha. Okay, now what we need to look at to understand how bringing immigrants to Norway, because especially for people on the left, but because the people on the left, they are the ones that complain the most about capitalism, about the increasing wealth gap, about record profits for companies and for the rich. But on the other hand, they are the most ardent supporters of immigration. They want to bring more immigrants to our countries. So it's a self-contradiction. And they can't fathom this because it's a little bit difficult to understand how immigrants coming to our countries that don't come with their pockets filled of money and who are not immediately buying houses, how this increases home values. But to understand this, we need to go back to business school, the first class in business school. We need a discounted cash flow formula. Look at this. It's this thing. Look at this thing. Now, this may look a little bit complicated at first, but it's really very intuitive and very simple. The CF stands for cash flow. The T under CF is just the time. It doesn't matter. It's just 1, 2, 3 to make you understand which point you are at, because you're going to repeat this. The 1 plus R is 1 plus the discount rate or the interest rate, whatever you want to call it, and it's always 1 plus because you will express the discount rate as if it's 3%, you will express it as 0.3, but if you divide something by 0.3, you're going to get positive numbers, so it's always 1 plus. And the T here that's raised, that's to account for the time value of money. Money received today is of course more valuable than money received tomorrow because you can use that money, you can invest it. So that's why we're raising it to the first power, to the second power, to the third power, depending on how long we're looking at for this investment to last, to find the present value and the cash flow. If the cash flow increases, so if you look at the rent market, if you bring immigrants to Norway and give them money or keep them in houses paid for by the government, that pushes rent prices up. That is the cash flow. And when you have a higher number up here, you're gonna get a higher number after you divide it, and that is added to the present value, so the present value becomes higher. Now, I do understand my audience, so I'm gonna express this in a little bit simpler language. Let's forget about the discount rate. We don't need to discount anything, but just imagine that you're an investor and you're looking at a house that costs 1 million, and you want to make a 10% profit per year through the cash flow, the rent you're taking. So if you're buying a house for 1 million, and in this situation there are only 10 months in a year, it's a hypothetical situation, only 10 months in a year. So imagine a year with only 10 months, you just bought a house for 1 million and you want to make a 10% profit through the rent. Then you need to charge 10,000 per month. Okay, but now imagine if the rent prices increase and now you can charge 13,000 per month. What happens to the home value then if you still want to make a 10% profit? Now you can pay 1.3 million for the same house. So by bringing immigrants, we push up company profits, which push up stock values. We increase home values, which push home prices up. And at the same time as this is happening, this is extremely inflationary. I'm telling you, this is government stimulus. Stimulus is inflationary. We are taking this money from our oil profits. It's not money which are in circulation in Norway. No, oil is traded in dollars. So we're taking oil, getting dollar, and putting this money into our economy through our deficits in our budgets, which are inflationary. And this inflation reduces the purchasing power of Norwegian people. So in the light of this, especially when we consider that we know that immigration means more crime, it means more public expenditure, it means we are not integrating the people we have already brought. So what should be our incentives to bring even more people? And for me, the incentives seem quite obvious, and that's economic growth. It makes the rich richer. It's really quite intuitive to understand that a man in Norway is worth more than a man in Nigeria, not from a human value perspective, but from an economic perspective. He will consume more goods and services being in Norway than in Nigeria. That's obvious. So by bringing them to Norway from Nigeria or Niger or some other, foreign, corrupt, despotic led country to Norway, we're immediately increasing consumption. And that's another very weird thing, because we're in an age where we're told all the time that we need to think about the environment. Well, surely bringing loads of immigrants, especially refugees, to our countries increases consumption and increases the pressure on the climate. So it really doesn't make any sense other than making the rich richer. It increases economic growth, it's profits for the big companies, it's rising house values, and we are happy. We seem to not care, So thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked and enjoyed it. I think it was a good video, so please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.